Hello everyone, you're welcome. In this tutorial, I would actually call this a workshop. So what I'm planning to do today is to condense everything we have done in the past weeks in HTML5 into one uh, condensed tutorial. So I know I have so many tutorials, step-by-step guide into HTML5 and for absolute beginner. So what this is going to do is it's going to help you get started with web development with HTML5 and with every resources you need to get started. So in this tutorial, I'm going to take you from setting up your computer to the softwares you are going to need to code and how to start a new website project. So, and also I'm going to be going to some little technicalities and also showing you some resources that you can continue to learn, just like we have done over the past days. So the reason why I'm doing this is because there are some people that just like to see everything as a goal. So this tutorial will be able to give you everything you need to setting up your computer, to starting your HTML web project, to conceptualization of your ideas and things like that. So let's get started. So today I thought of, okay, what project can we use as a kind of demonstration of HTML, HTML5 and how everything works. So before we go further, I'm just going to show you this website. Website is called Unsplash.com. Unsplash.com is a platform that helps you to get royalty-free images actually for your website project, for your adverts, for your banner designs, for anything. It's really amazing. So you can have different kind of pictures from photographers from around the world, and these photographers contribute their pictures. So what you just need to do is download the image and then you can credit them in your work you use it for. So what we're going to do is use HTML5 to actually kind of design this home page. So not with all of these pictures, but at least the concept of the home page itself. So, and that's what we're going to be doing. As you see, as we are scrolling, it's continued to load up more pictures. So the idea about HTML is that HTML is what gives you the structure and the content for your website. So that's what HTML is all about. So if you have taken the course I've done before on HTML5, you've seen I've explained a lot of things about HTML5 and what's that about. But if you have not, it's okay. If you want to go through all those step-by-step tutorials, I'll put the link in the channel here. So just subscribe and look at the comment and description section. I'll put the link to the playlist that you can see all those videos that go through step-by-step of HTML5. So what we are going to be doing here is that we are going to be using HTML5, then I'm going to be explaining some of those tags and syntax for you. So what is HTML5 itself? HTML5 is basically a markup language. So HTML means hypertext markup language. So you can quickly do a quick Google search here. I'll just do this Google here, and okay, I need to agree something. Okay, that's fine. So I will just do HTML5. Fantastic. So this is from Wikimedia directly. HTML5 is a markup language used for structuring and presenting content on the World Wide Web, and that's as simple as it is. So it's a markup language. It gives you some kind of structure into to present your data or content on the website. So and HTML5 is the new standard. So we used to have HTML before. So if you want to read about all these standards of HTML5 and all these things, then you can just go deep into this place. You can see everything about it. So another platform you can use to learn about all this nitty-gritty is HTML5 developer guides here. I highly recommend this. It's really amazing. So it explains all the semantic syntax of HTML5. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into all this. So some of the addition to HTML5 today is all these semantic elements that we have. So semantic elements are just like some tags that give you context into the element that you are trying to present. Like for instance, if you are going to add an audio to the website, you can use this HTML5 tag called audio. So by just looking at that tag, you understand contextually what that tag is doing. So we have video also, we have this footer, we have aside, we have section, we have article, we have navigation, we have header. So all these HTML5 elements give you some kind of context into what that element is doing, literally. So that's the concept about what HTML5 semantics give to us. So they are more like an addition to HTML, and we call them now HTML5. So you can read more about this. They have HTML5 cheat sheets, which I think is highly amazing. You can check this out. So for you to get all of the tags in HTML5 and HTML that you can use and have an idea of how to use them. So this is highly recommended. I'm going to put this in the description so that you can have that. So aside from this, another platform I would say you should check out is W3 School. So W3 School is really great. They give you everything you need to know about HTML reference itself. So HTML reference, they learn HTML tutorials and things like that. All these things you need to know about HTML. So just go through it because in this tutorial we may not be able to like cover every syntax, you know. So all the elements of HTML5, there are a lot of them. So but that's the essence of this cheat sheet here, where you can look at, okay, if I want to do these things, what can I use? Then you can just look them up here and you use them. So yeah, that's about that. So I said we are going to be creating this page. So but before we get started, one thing I want us to do is we're going to conceptualize this website. And sometimes we are trying to conceptualize a website. The best thing is just like, as a web developer, you're like an artist also. You're trying to like create something. Just think about it like an architect. If an architect is trying to like design a house, they fell into sketch the idea, present it, and make sure that yeah, this idea work. Then they go on to like do the 2D drawing. Then they do the 3D modeling, and you can see what you want to do, you want to build. And that's the essence of conceptualization, or I would say low fidelity prototype of what you're trying to build. So, and there are a lot of tools out there that you can use for low fidelity prototype of any web project you want to design. So for me, sometimes you can use pen and paper to sketch your ideas, but in the times of digital, we're in digital world right now, people use digital tools to do sketch, and I personally use Excalibur to sketch out concepts or websites or mobile apps or whatever, to just create the idea of what I needed to build. So we are going to be using Excalibur in this place to create a low fidelity prototype of what our website is going to look like. So I'm just going to get rid of all this, and we're going to get started. So if you look at this, we're not going to build everything, but we're just going to look at the minimized version of this. So what do we need? We have an header here. So this header here is important. Then we have like a big banner splash here. Then we have all the images that follow. So this is a very straightforward, and it adds a lot of things that we can use to actually learn what we are going to build. So we're going to condense it a little bit, so we may not be able to like add all of this feature into it, but at least we had enough to be able to get understanding of how HTML5 semantic and content handling works. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing we are going to do is let's have a canvas that describe our web page. So this is like our web page in total. So the first thing we want to look at is we have this header at the top that we want to add. So this will be our header. So then after the header we have that big banner image section. Then after that we have all our images. So I'll just do this, then use options and just copy this. So this is perfect. then you just need, can do this also. So maybe we have an image now, it's like bigger or something, so it just depends. Then you have another image that can come here. Okay, so and that's about our structure. So if you can see this now, so we have the, we can label this, we have the header section. So we have the, we can call this the hero section that's been called. So we can have all these images section here. So another thing you have to look at is in the images section, in the header section here, we have this logo here, and then we have this search bar here, but we don't want to do that because we already have one here that we're going to implement, so that is good enough. So we just go on and add those oh please, I'm sorry about that. So we have all of those headings there, and in this place, you remember we have this search, so let's have that there. And then we have all this big text here, then we have another text comes here, then let's have a text here. So that is this, or this. So that's, we have the header sections, we have, which has the logo and all the navigation links. So we have an hero section here, so which have the background image and this content there, and then the search bar. Then we have all our images that have been here. So that is that about that, and our low fidelity prototype has been done. So you can start from here and start to code, or sometimes you can need to do like what we call a high fidelity prototype. So what does high fidelity prototype means? It's like you put content and images to your sketch to show colors and things like that, to be able to like show your clients or your team members how the website will really look like. So because right now we are not concerned about how the website really look like, we're just concerned about all this content right now. So we're not adding any styling, any color, so we are more concerned about the structure of the content, presentation of the content alone, and that is what HTML user help us to do. So HTML will help us to just present our content structures only. That's what we're going to say. So in other courses, I'm going to talk about high fidelity prototype when we do CSS, and so that for styling, and JavaScript for interactions and things like that. So the next step now is what we need to do to get started with our project is set up our platform, our computer to code. So to set up our computer to code, what do we need? We need an IDE. So we need an IDE. So IDE means integrated development environment. So we need an IDE. So there are different kind of IDE out there that you can use for coding. So, but for me, I would recommend VS Code. It's really good. So we Google here VS Code by Microsoft. So it's actually a very lightweight, cross-platform, open source code editing software. So I already have this installed. So no matter the platform you are using, you always find, I'm using Mac right now. That's why it defaults to download for Mac. But if you click here, you can see for Linux, for Windows, and then for Mac. So you can download any of these ones. So when you get that done, download and install, you should have it on your platform. So the next thing that we're going to do is create a folder. So I've already done that, if you see. So what I did is I just created a folder called Pixtagram. So that will be the name of the project that we're going to be building. So you can create a folder whatever you want. So for this project, I think I created on the desktop. So we have this tutorial folder. Then we have this folder here called Pistagram. You can see that. So, and what you can do is open that open VS Code that you have just installed. So I'm going to open VS Code here. So this is VS Code, and then we have Pistagram open here. So or you could just go to open and go to where you have that folder in, and then you can select Pistagram and then open it, and it will be open for you. So if this is open now, what I will need to do is just create a file called index.html. So, and that is it. So if you create a folder called index.html, that will automatically the concept here is that index.html is always the first page or the home page of any website. So this is the convention and the standards that have been around for a long time. So if I want to create any other page, I will just do something like contact.html. You see that? So, and you can see this is the icon for HTML5. So VS Code already know, and just put that for me. So another thing you can do to make your life easier, as you're going to use, is that this also have terminal built in. If you do new terminal, you can see the terminal is going to show here. So for your codes, and you can see all the files that you have installed. Then you can click here to delete the terminal. If you need to show terminal again, just go to terminal, new terminal. It's as simple as that. So so let's get started. I'm going to remove this contact page here. So just move this to trash. So before we move ahead, I'm going to create a new folder here. I'm going to call it images. That's good. So this images folder here is where we're going to put all the images we need for our project. So I've already go ahead to download some images. So I'm just going to share those images that I've just downloaded, and I'm going to move them over here. Just some amazing pictures. It's really good. So, and I'm going to open Pistagram images. I'm just going to copy and paste all those images inside. So that is brilliant. Good. So now that we have all those images copied over, so we can start to code. So if we look at our initial design, what do we have here? If we look at our initial design, so what do we have? So let's close this, since we have that installed. Let's close this. All these links will be available in the description, so you can follow that later. So this is the design we have. So if we are going to start structuring our HTML page, what do we need? So as you can see, in our HTML here, to get started, we need the HTML tags and bodies. So we can get all those ones easily by using this shortcut here. So just the exclamation, then you can see the emit here, and it's going to give us the boilerplate syntax. So we don't need to like type all the doctype, HTML lang, and all those things by ourselves. It just automatically populated. So just close this up and just show you what is going on here. So in this idea here, we have the doctype at the top that is saying that this file here is an HTML5 document, and the language here is English. So that shows that you can actually target different kind of languages also. So we have the chassis, the UTF-8, we have the viewports, content, and things like that. So you can read more about all these things, but they're just like standards things that you need to do. So after that, we have the title, which is the title of the document that we are working on. So we can just change this title to welcome to Pistagram. So that's the name of it. I named the project, so we can just call it that and we save it. So, And what you notice here is if I right click here, I can go to open with live server. So this is going to like show up and load this page for me on the web browser. So when I do that now, so you see this page is loaded. So let me just bring it to the screen so you can see. So this is the page and it's loaded for us now, so you can see that. Fine. So we're going to be working with this, and so maybe I'll just try to put this side by side so that we can see what is actually going on automatically. So when you do this now, you see the title we had here is currently now showing up over here. You can see the title, welcome to Pistagram, is showing up here. So if I change this right now to maybe welcome home, so you can see this page automatically reload and it's showing update the title here. So why this is happening here is because VS Code have an internal server that is running, that you can see open with live server. We actually open the current page, I right click on, and you can also click on this to stop the live server. So since this is open up now, we can start adding content to it. So you will remember in HTML is all about content structure. So, and there are lots and lots of syntax that we can use to structure our page. So the first thing we need is that we know everything that is going to show up on this page here should be in the page section. So it should be in this body section here. So everything in the head section here basically deals with search engine. So if search engine search for our page or our website, so they can read all this content from here. And we can always add some more other things here. In the future videos, we're going to be seeing that, how to attach CSS or JavaScript or some other thing to our HTML documents. So let's keep going now. So, and just touch some simple HTML syntax. So if I said, for instance, h1 tag, so, and I said hello universe. Yeah, so you can see that. So this h1 tag is one of the biggest heading tag in HTML. So we have 6 of them. So we have the h2 also. So if I put hello Milky Way, so you can see this is smaller to this. And one thing you need to understand about HTML5 or HTML generally is that we have this opening syntax here, which is the h2 open, and then we have the closing syntax here. So the closing have backslash at the end of it. So just like I said, we have the h3 also. You can say hello world. You can see that, and then we have the, let me just go to the 6th one here and say hello Peter. So you can see the h6 is the smallest one. So those are HTML syntax, and they help us to do things like that. So you can look the h1 tag up and you can see what they do. There are also some other syntax also, like for paragraph, for instance. So paragraph is just a paragraph content into your website. So just say lorem. I was trying to, yeah, I think there should be some kind of image for that. Okay, good. So you can see this added some kind of paragraph to our page. So then I can even add more. So, and the lorem. It's not coming. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't work. So I'm just trying to like get dash. It's strange. Okay, one more time, still not coming. So, but what I'm trying to do is you can have like multiple paragraphs. So let me just copy and paste this. So you can see that. So we have the headers, we have the paragraphs, and things like that. So HTML, what it does basically is just like present content to us and show it up on the page. So it doesn't concern itself with the color of how the page looks like and things like that. It doesn't at all. So what it does out of the box is just give you all the content the way it should be. So when we just talked about positioning and structuring and all this fancy design and everything, that is where CSS comes in. You understand? So those are those about HTML, and sometimes you may want to like comment out something. So it's easy to do with your editor. You can just do this toggle line comment. You can see, and this is now a comment. When I click this, you can see that is not showing up again. So I can comment out all these blocks also. I'll just say edit block comment, and you can see that the first paragraph is out of the page also. So that is how you can do commenting in HTML. So the editor is actually going to help you to get that done. So now let's get started with our project. So let's just get rid of all these things we have done. So the first thing we are going to work on is the navigation. So is the navigation. So in the navigation, what do we have? We have the image. That's the logo there. So, and also we have all those links, which are the list of things in there. So there are different ways we can get this done. So what I'm going to do is, because we have two things that are going to be in that place, so I'll just put them into different divs. So the divs here for the image, and I'm going to do another div here for the links. So we can have this here and just say image. And one thing about image tag, I would say, is that image tag is self-closing tag. So it doesn't have something like you don't have to do image close tag and have image something like that. So image is close tag, self-closing tag. So take note of that. So let's bring this div back here. So then we can takes an attribute called source. So where we put the source of the logo here. So since we don't have a source yet, let's just keep this here the way it is. Then we have the links. So right now I'm just going to do the URL here and then the li, the list. So right now if I save, you may not actually see things on the page. You can just see the list coming up here. So if we look at the website itself, what kind of link can we get out from there? So we have the brands, explore, submit a photo, login, and join free. So then we can just implement all that right now. So I'll just do this. Yeah. So we're going to have, we have brand. So you can see that coming up. We have other enlightenment. We have explore. So we have submit a photo. Then we have login. Then we have the last but not the least, sign up free. So now we can see all of this content coming up here. So which is good and good and good and good. So after that, you remember we have So the reason why I put this and this in this separate div is for styling purpose, because HTML just like structure. You can see all these div are not showing up, and everything here is just like on the line. So when we add CSS to this mix, CSS is going to position them the way we want, any which way we want them. So that's about it. So another thing you go notice with this, what we have just done here, is that this brand, they are links, but right now they are not links. So what we can do is just fix that now. So how can we create a link tag in HTML? So if I'm going to make something a link, there is a link tag here like this, which is an A tag that we can use. And if I close this up now, you can see that it's not coming up here because I need to put an attribute. I'll just put a dummy link here, and now you can see that this is now a clickable link. So pushing an hashtag here shows you that, okay, this is a link, but it's not going anywhere yet. So it's just a dummy link that we are yet to put the link to where it's going to. So this is very, very common, especially in development, where all these pages are not already available. So we can do the same thing here. We have the A tag, put our elements here, and then just add each one of them, and last but not least, then we have all our links being that are now clickable. So when I'm clicking it now, it's not going anywhere because we have just those dummy tag there. So let's move to the next section, which is the hero section. So for this, I'm going to use a semantic tag that is called section. So section give us an opportunity to be able to, like, okay, now we are actually starting off a new section over here, and our developers can actually understand what exactly we're doing here. So in this section, what do we have? We have this content there, we have the image background, so, and things like that. So this is each section. So what I'm just going to do is have the h1 that have the content over here. So maybe what we just do is, let's copy this Unsplash thing. Yeah, let's just put it there to that h1. So because, yeah, let's just use our name, definitely, because we have a name, Pistagram, right? So we use Pistagram for this, and then we have this here, which is good. So we're going to just do a p tag and put it here, and to be able to enforce that break in those lines that we have here, so we are going to use, there is a break, self-closing break tag. This is just add a break to what we are doing. So you can see now we have those breaks there. So without this, if we remove this, for instance, let's see, you see that everything is just on one line. So when I had that, you see that break is there now. So now we have used different sections, and we have used section, we have the header tag h1, we use paragraph. Then what next we have this search bar that is there. So there is a form. So to create a form in HTML is just use something that is called form here, and then we are going to have a form input here that is actually self-closing, and we can put the type to be a type attribute. So what you notice is that when we're doing the type of a form, like type here, you can see we have different kind of type, password, numbers, and things like that. Even we have search. You see that? So we can just use search as our type. So if I do that, you can see we have this over here. So another thing we can do is, if you look at this, we have this placeholder here, search free high resolution photos. So what I'm going to do is just add exactly that to what we're doing. So you can add a placeholder. So search high resolution image, and when we look at that, you can see it's already here. So one thing you notice is that this is not as big as we wanted, but that is what CSS will help us to do, to be able to like position it, make it bigger, smaller, change the colors and things like that. But HTML itself doesn't concern himself about all those things. What is HTML? The function of HTML in the mix is just to like present those data, and then we can style them whichever way we want. So then we have our form done. So the next thing I'm going to do is use another HTML tag here called emphasis, and that we use to add this over here. And cool, we have this, and then if we save this now, we have the emphasis here. So what I can do here is because we don't have, so this is good, so we have the emphasis here, and then we can style it whichever way we want. So now we have the next section. We need to code out, which is the image itself, the image section. So you can have this. So another thing you can do is you can add nice comments to your page. You can say navigation section. So just right click this, go to edit here, double line comment, and it's going to make it a comment for you. So and I can add this hero section, and then we can do this. That's the same thing. You can actually use the, I think that is this command or control backslash to do that. So you can always do that. And so the next one we are going to do is the main section. I'll just call this main section. So, and I can just do command backslash, and then you have the comment there. So on the main section, we are going to use a semantic HTML element, also called main. So this shows that this is the main content of the page. So, and on the main content of the page, what we have series of images. So there are different ways we can do our images. So what I can do is just like have a div here. So to add all the images to the line. So depending on how we're trying to like code out our images, so we can have, so we can have image. Let's have the image tag. So we have the image tag here, and we have the source set there. So, and then we can have the alt image. So I can say Africa images. So one thing you'll notice here is this. You can say that. So because we had an alt, and I'm not providing an image here, so it's showing us that it's supposed to be an image here, but the image is not available. But this is the description of what that image should be. So you will notice we can do the same thing for our brand here. So because we don't have a brand logo yet, maybe we don't have enough money to design logo here to pay designers, so we can say brand logo. We save this, and then at the top here we can look, okay, there's a brand logo coming, but it's not here yet, but keep in mind we are working on that. So that's it. So that's it, simple as that. We can add as much images as we want in here. We can add 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know how many images I have, but we can just add all those images, and then see all these images are here. So what we can do now is just go to the images and then select them. So we have the first one here. So when you click on the dot, then images page comes in, then we can select all those images. So when I save these, so you can see now we have all these images coming up. They are really, really huge images. So pick 2 more. And the last one. Fantastic. And that's it. And if we can go, just make this a little bit bigger. So you can see now we have our HTML page coded already. We have the brands, we have the heading, we have everything, we have all the images coming and all. So you can see this is actually huge, and that is where CSS comes into play. So CSS is what we're going to use, like style all these things and make it presentable just the way we want it. So let me just give you an example. Let's see a very simple website, for instance. Okay, so let me go to peterhen.dev. Though this is not a pure HTML page, but I think if you go to view page source, you can be able to see. Yeah, so this is a lot of this server-side generated content, but you can see all the HTML that create this page coming here. So let me see, because I use this basically is server. Let's go to google.com. Yeah, I just need a website that's just simple HTML page. Let's see if Google.com. I think Google.com have a lot of JavaScript in there also. Okay, at least we can see some of the HTML that is coming from here. So that's not about that. But another thing we could do, let me check. WordPress is very good. Let me check the website that can give an example of what I'm trying to show you. So when you view the page source, you'll be able to see all the HTML that creates a page. So, and then you can work on those HTML to create all those content. So let me make an example here. Okay, I think let me see these it's taking a while to load, but fine. Okay, good. So you can see this now. All these pages here, we have had the CSS, HTML, a lot of JavaScript going on here. But at the same time, when we view the page source, we can see all the HTML, the div, the ID, and things like that. So we're going to discuss this. You can see this is a container section, and you can see those HTML that created. You can see a form here. You can see the search method, the get, and things like that. So those are the things that we're talking about. So before we move forward, I'm just going to tidy this up a little. So we have all this now. We have this image. So what we can do is here we have an ID. So we can call this brand. So ID helps us to identify this image div, so that when we are styling this image, we can target it specifically and add a custom style to it. So to this we can have ID here. You can call this ID nav links or something. So, and for this section here, we can have it, we call this ID here, and then you can name this arrow, so which is really good. So for the form here, we can put the form method like we see, and we say, okay, this method should be get. So get method means that we're fetching something from the server. So you don't need to like worry yourself so much about this, but we get to that even more later. So in the div here, we'll just say ID images page. Yeah. It's an image content or something. So one thing you should notice that ID should be unique per page. So if I use an ID image content here, I can't go somewhere else on this page and use the same ID. So because ID is basically like a universal, a global variable, I would say. So so that's that. Now let me just quickly recap what we have done. So in the beginning, we start with a sketch. We start with a sketch here to give us a concept of what we need to design. So this is the header here. We have the arrow section and we have all the images here. So this workshop is particularly about the HTML. So, and also we discussed about ID, which is VS Code that we are using to code, and how to get it and where to install it. So all of these contents and resources will be in the description below. So just check them out and you can use them. And also then we start by creating a page, index.html. So index.html is always the first page of your website. I say that you can create additional pages like about us, about.html. You can create other pages also like contact.html and so forth. Then we have the images. This is where we put all the images we downloaded. And from this page we have also we have the Doctype, we have the title. So the body sections have all the information that show up on the website. So every information that show up on the site that we build over here are placed in the body section. So then in the body section we have the navigation, which generates this navigation, which has the brand image and the links. Then we have the arrow sections, if you remember, with the h1 tag, p tag, and then we have the main section of the page, which have all of the images that is being loaded. So we have the alt image that shows up if you don't provide your image link, and we can see the example here in the brand. So I try as much as possible to make this a little bit slower, to go more into details of what we're doing here. So the idea is just to give you the idea of how you get started with projects and building your HTML page from scratch. So thank you for watching. Subscribe and share these resources with people that are just getting started with web development and they're like kind of struggling on their own. So the idea of this workshop is just like give you details about how all these things work together. So download this page and you also can experiment with it. So I'm going to post this into a Git repository and put the link in the below so that you can download this if you want and just use it to experiment, and then you can create your own things also, and you can start learning from that. So just look at the website, try and create the HTML structure of that website, and you imagine how much you're going to learn quickly. So, and the thing is that HTML tags are finite, so most of the time what you're going to be doing is copying from one page to another, and you see that more and more you'll be writing less code as you are writing more HTML pages. So thank you for this being through this workshop. So the next section is going to CSS, and we are going to be adding styling to our page to make it pretty, to organize it, and to make it even nicer, more appealing to people, and then you can start to show off your skills to your friends and even more. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and tell your friends about it. And